This is Taylor. Taylor breaking tackles across the 25, and the rookie Antoine Bethea comes up to make the stop.
Maroney back in, so we're seeing Maroney, we're seeing Dillon, we're seeing a play fake. Great shoulder move there by Brady to buy time. He goes deep, and it's intercepted in the end zone. It's picked off by Bethea, and the rookie's going to run out of the end zone. And he's going to get away with it. Now he's looking to lateral the ball, and Dungy's heart is no doubt in his throat, but he takes it back out to the 31-yard line. So Bethea, in a situation where you almost never see the defensive back come out of the end zone that deep in the end zone, but he does, and he gives Indy the ball.
Hello and welcome to CTV. I'm your host, Cynthia Tapia, and on today's episode, I have a very special guest, 14-season veteran, 3-time Pro Bowler, Super Bowl champ, safety, Antoine Bethea. Antoine, welcome to the show. It's a pleasure to have you.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for coming. So let's start right off with it. Congratulations on announcing your recent retirement.
I appreciate it. It was a long time coming, but the time was right, and I'm excited for the next chapter.
Yes. Okay. So what are you going to do with all this extra time on your hands? No more watching film, practices. What's next?
Man, I got some options and, some opportunities, but I think now it's just, self-time, enjoy the time with the family. And, just relax, the past 14 years, man, it's just been on the go and on the move, working out, training, season. So now that I got some time to myself, I'm gonna enjoy it.
Right, rightfully so. You deserve it. 14 seasons. Your name is up there with some of the greats: Ed Reed, Troy Polamalu, Ronnie Lott, just to name a few. I potentially see you as a Yellow Jacket in the future Hall of Famer. What does that mean for you to have your name in that same discussion as those greats?
Man, it's a blessing. I mean, I don't think when you think about how many people is actually in the Hall of Fame, and just have your name alongside those guys, man, it's a humbling moment. You know what I mean? But it's a lot that goes to it. You know what I mean? Even if I don't make it, man, I still feel as though I had a great career. That Hall of Fame, that's a big accomplishment. You know what I mean? So
Right.
Regardless, being able to do what I did, and the longevity, man, I'm happy for that.
Right. So ESPN has you at 1,333 to end your actual career with tackles. Mm-hmm. That is a phenomenal number. What contributed to your success and the longevity of your career lasting 14 seasons? Because I don't think people really understand that the wear and tear on the body and the age and how long you've been able to have this tenure in this league. What contributed to you lasting so long?
I think it's a lot. I think one is luck. One is it's the man upstairs, and then just the hard work, the dedication, the time that I put in, as far as taking care of my body. What I was putting in my body as far as food, nutrition-wise. And then again, as they always say, if you're good to the game will be good to you. And I think that was one of the most important things, where I didn't cheat the game, and the football guys, man, they took care of me.
And I want to back it up a little bit at the start of your career, because you got drafted 6th round. And you came from an HBCU, Howard, and you had a few different teams along the way. You started off with the Colts, then you made your way to the Bay with the 49ers, then you headed to the Valley of the Sun with the Cardinals, and your final farewell with the New York Giants. First of all, your rookie year, Super Bowl. Let's talk about that. What was that experience like? Rookie year, first time here, and you get a ring.
Man, it was crazy. You got to think about, like you said, getting drafted 6th round out of HBCU. It wasn't that many guys at that time getting drafted out of the HBCUs and just small colleges in general. We had a bad it was a bad stigma going around about, small school guys. You know what I mean? So for me, it was just having an opportunity to hear my name called, and going into training camp and going into the OTAs. It was just, for me, was just make the team, just make the
Just
team.
happy to be
So
here.
just happy to be here, make the team. And when I was able to make the team and my first game, to be named a starter, all I wanted to do was just play my part. Whatever they asked me to do, I just wanted to do my part. And fast forward to that February, I'm starting in the Super Bowl. That was like a lifelong dream, a childhood moment where you got some of the greatest players that ever played the game, never made it to a Super Bowl. So for me as a rookie, my first year, to be able to go to a Super Bowl, play in a Super Bowl, start in the Super Bowl, and then win it was phenomenal.
Wow, congratulations. That's like you said, so many players are great, have never seen a ring, and here you are being able to share that experience and tell that story. So I also want to touch on, because you touched on it a little bit, and now that we're seeing that it's changed the stigma of the HBCUs to now, especially that we're seeing primetime Deion Sanders being head coach of Jackson State, and then him recruiting, his two sons to go there. How do you think that's changed the dynamic from where it had the stigma to now and the future recruits for student athletes?
Man, it's changed tremendously. And you can just kind of go all the way back to when the HBCUs was kind of the thing where, you had Walter Payton, you had, Jerry Rice, you had a lot of guys coming from HBCUs, making it into the league. So now, fast forward to, like you said, like Deion Sanders is the head coach of Jackson State. His son was at the University of South Carolina. If you could just kind of go down the page of some of the recruits that was either committed to a Power Five and decommitted to go to Jackson State, I think he's going to change the trajectory of what it means to go to a HBCU. I think anybody would love to go play for Coach Prime. You know what I'm saying? So
I know I would.
exactly. So I think he's going to change the trajectory of HBCU football. But if you kind of just talk about just the climate of where it's at now, it's basketball, it's volleyball, it's just not football, it's all over. You know what I mean? So I'm excited to see it, and I think it'll just continue to grow as the years come and go.
You're right. I like to see that diverse now. It's getting a little bit different from just the normal top schools. So that's great. Let's talk about you, and you have a few things going on. So you have a podcast, Man to Man podcast.
Yep.
And you also wrote a book, Bet on Yourself. So what future projects can we expect to see from you?
Man, so I released that book in 2018, Bet on Yourself Inside the Mind of the Ultimate Underdog. I'm actually going to re-release it this year. Obviously 2018, a few years ago, and from 18 to now, a lot has happened in my life and a lot has happened in this world. So it's definitely some things that I kind of want to tap into that kind of fits with the whole narrative of Bet on Yourself and the underdog. So I'm gonna re-release that. I don't have an exact date as of yet, but I'll definitely keep everybody updated. Again, like you said, the Man to Man podcast with myself and my co-host Darius Butler. We was teammates in Indianapolis, so that's been going well. Having a ball with that. So I'm kind of tapped into the media world now. So from there, man, like I said, I got some other opportunities. Just excited to explore these new opportunities.
Any commentary? We're going to see you on the sidelines doing any play-by-play action?
I don't know yet. I'm thinking on that. Like I said, I definitely have some opportunities. I'm not 100% sure if I'm gonna tap into that yet.
And then as far as you making the announcement now to retire, like you said, and you have this mantra that you've always lived by, the bet on yourself. Can you explain a little bit more what that means to you and where you embodied that slogan?
Yeah. So for me, just growing up I was a lot of the time like one of the smallest on the team. So really at that time, it wasn't the mantra of bettering yourself. I wasn't saying it at the time, but as I grew older, as I continued my journey, it was kind of the same thing. People tell me what I would, what I couldn't do. And, it just kind of set into myself. Like, don't worry about what everybody else is saying about you. You do what you do. And just kind of set in myself like, I'm gonna bet on myself. Like, before I bet on anybody else, I'm gonna bet on myself. And again, I guess one of the things that I've held with me since high school, going on to college, and just going through my process within the league and going my journey in the league. Just bet on yourself. You know what you're capable of. You know the work ethic. You know the hard work that you put into everything that I do. So, again, when I was just decided to write the book, I just kind of figured, if somebody could take some pointers on my life story of how I got to where I got, the reader can do the same, regardless of what profession you're in. You could be an entertainer, an entrepreneur, whatever the case may be. Everybody can bet on yourself. And it's crazy because some people are scared to bet on yourself, because when you bet on yourself, it's some things that you're going to have to do that's not comfortable. And you have to get to a point where you're comfortable being uncomfortable. You know what I mean? So when you're going on that limb, you got to believe in yourself. You're going to hit some potholes along the way. You're going to hit some bumps along the way. But wouldn't you much rather end up doing something that you love rather than going into work and help paying somebody else's bills? You know what I'm saying? So that's where that mantra.
I like that. That's very inspiring. I like that. Bet on yourself. That's one to certainly live by. And throughout all these years, all these teams, all these coaches, you've got to experience some of the best on the field and off the field, behind the scenes. What are some of your most memorable moments with either coaches or players or either franchises?
Obviously the Super Bowl, winning the Super Bowl, that was one of the a memorable moment. Another memorable moment was not, I would say it was memorable just because of how the team and how the community came together when I was in Indianapolis and Coach Pagano got diagnosed with leukemia. And just to see how the locker room, the organization, and how the city, man, how we just all rallied behind him and kept it pushing, man. And just to see him come back, I think that was a very inspiring time as well. I think those were kind of like the top two times in my career. And even when I was in San Fran, and when Cap decided to kneel, that was a major movement. You know what I'm saying? For what Cap stood up for and why he started. Till this day, you can continue to see why he did that in the fight for in our community.
Right, absolutely. And we're seeing that more and more every day as we see what's going on in the world and the political and the views, both sides. I want to touch a little bit on that because I think at the time he got a lot of backlash because it was new, it was different, and a lot of people looked at it as a very negative thing. But now, how do you feel, especially when you hear certain people make statements like just stick to basketball or just stick to football, but you as an athlete having this platform? So how does that intertwine with you? Because also you're an African-American man in America.
Yeah, so at the end of the day, that's what I am first. You know what I mean? So before I'm an athlete, I'm an African-American man. And these are things that myself, my peers before me, my kids after me gonna have to deal with in this world. You know what I mean? So for somebody to say, just stick to basketball, like that's nonsense. You know what I mean? And when people talk about using our platform, we have to use our platform. It's not about what you want us to use our platform for. It's what we believe in, what matters most to us. And again, that's what Cap did, man. That's what numerous amount of players have done in the WNBA, the NBA, all over the sports world. You know what I mean? So, and for me, it's all about my community. It's about my community, about the people that don't have the voice or the platform that I have to speak out for them as well. So, I will continue to use my platform, even though I'm not playing. I'm retired. I will continue to use my platform and do whatever I can do to help help this world progress and push forward.
That's great. I like that. And I just want to kind of touch a little bit on this season because it was a very, very different year for everyone with COVID. And as for fans, for coaches, for the players, personnel, what was this season like having to be tested and no fans in the stands or limited capacity? What was the most challenging part of playing through this?
It was it was different. Obviously I didn't play this year, but like, it was different. It like, I did have a workout, and even when I went to go work out for Baltimore before I could even set foot in the facility, I had to quarantine in the hotel for 5 days and test negative for 5 days. So testing 5 straight days. So it was definitely something new, something that we've never seen. Don't know if we're gonna see it again, but at the beginning of the season, if you would have asked me if the season would have went on without any interruptions, I would have said nah. But with the league being able to go without any interruptions, I tip my hat off to the players, to the training staff, to the league, to the coaches. Even though some teams had some hiccups here and there, and I think that was kind of expected, but it was weird. It was weird times, and I don't know if you could have prepared yourself for it.
Right, very different for everyone across the whole nation, but specifically in the sports world, I never thought I'd see a day where sports came to a stop.
Right. It was and it's still tough, you know what I mean? With a lot of people just losing family members and people talking like, is this real? And so it was just a lot going on. And again, for us to battle through it and to keep it going and keep it moving, man, it was amazing.
Now, I know you said that you would miss the locker room camaraderie the most in your final farewell. What specifically about that? What was that experience like behind closed doors with you and your teammates and the coaches?
Man, it was just love. You know what I mean? You got to think about you bringing people from all different races all over the world into one place for one common goal. You know what I mean? So this is like our getaway. You can be having problems at home, problems in your your life off the field, but when you got in that locker room, it was like no worries. You know what I mean? So the laughter, the joking, you'll never have that. You know what I mean? It was just something different. It was just something different about that. Taking those bus rides, those plane trips, man, just having a good time. And like you said, like those are lifelong friendships. That's a brotherhood, and like I said, that's what I miss. That's what I'm gonna miss most about it. Just having that friendship and having a good time in the locker room.
Well, Twan, I do appreciate your time and you being here with me today on CTV. It was a pleasure. I wish you well and good luck in your future endeavors. And I will never forget, bet on yourself.
Hey, you got to each and every day.
Thank you for being here. Good luck. I'm Cynthia Tapia, and this is CTV. Thanks for joining in.